okay, the girls are back on track. On the go and remembering to record.
That's right.
Episode 61.
Episode 61. We're back to numbers. We finally figured it out. Only because it was a big deal recording our 60th.
was a big deal.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
I was just listening to it on my way here.
Were we good? I haven't listened to it yet.
I thought, we talk over each other a lot. Always like, Kristen, just shut up.
Right. We say right all the time, right? I think and right.
Yeah.
We are really...
I finish your sentences.
Right thinkers.
You finish my ideas. I mean, it's very, very good.
So wonderful.
It's so, well, anyway.
I was listening to one, but I'm a couple weeks behind us, so I was catching up, and now I can't even remember. We said something, and I was like, oh, we have to come back to that and talk about it, and now I can't even remember what it was. But that's what we do. We'll talk about it and then forget to come back to it.
That is true. That's why I started listening, actually, because I'm feeling like, because people are saying stuff to me. I said last week, I think, like, I have to pray about this. Am I on? Okay, sorry. Anything good happening? Like, are we doing this? Like, why are we doing this? Like, is it just, if we're just going to have Bible study, we could just do Bible study, you and me, and catch up and, like, anyway, and then somebody says something.
Yes.
Like, I saw this, and I'm like, I should listen to what we talk about, because
the person that I met with today, shout out to Tanya McConnell, because she's listening, she does listen and think it's impactful, and that's what we were talking about. She's like, it's like we are having our devotional, which is what we originally started this with. You and I were doing our devotions, and we just turned a camera on.
Yes.
So outside of that, we would be meeting anyway, so now we just meet with the camera on.
Exactly.
That's
tell
great.
our stories to,
the
thousands
10 people,
of people that are paying attention to us.
So.
And if you don't like it, turn it off.
That's right. Excuse me. That's it. We turn ourselves off.
Turn ourselves off. So
we're in marriage. We did our lights, so we kind of caught everybody up on life.
We did. We introduced our spouses.
Yep.
We have conferred with them, and they're willing to show up.
Although they aren't as excited about the method we were going to use. Originally, we were going to set it up. You suggested it. Like, you interview Sean and I'll interview Rodney.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah, they did not want that. They do not want to be by themselves. They're like, we got to do this together.
They did. They were like, this is torture. I'm not going to be tortured without you.
Yeah. So it'll be a foursome. Not a threesome.
It'll be interesting.
But a foursome.
We'll see. Yeah, and I don't know. We may have to push them a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah, because they're going to answer generic. They're going to be like, we love you. They're wonderful. Right. After we've trashed them for 60 episodes, they're going to come in and be like, they're wonderful.
It's not that bad. We're not that bad. But yes.
Excuse me. Goodness.
There'll be lots to uncover.
That'll be fun. That'll be a fun one.
So what are we going to talk about? Marriage.
So marriage.
I had a little bit, not so much time, because I had, I do have to tell you about my grandma bouncy house experience. I mean, I bought a bouncy house.
It was
and
so fun.
I was like, when the kids come, when the grandkids come, we don't always get to spend their birthday with them. And so I was like, when you come to grandma's, I'm going to have birthday parties. So everybody's going to get a birthday party. And so I got a bouncy house with a water thing on it. And we had cupcakes and stuff. I'm telling you what, they still talk about
that was such a great bouncy house. I mean, and watching the little babies, naked babies, I was eating it up. I loved it.
So Henry said to me, I was talking to Alex, and Alex was like, Henry, you want to say hi to Grandma? He says, Grandma, bouncy house. Like, oh, I'm so happy.
It was a great bouncy house. It really was.
But I think I'm going to roll that thing out for me.
I was going to say, that little puddle at the bottom, a little pool, sit there and sunbathe, read a book.
Yeah, I was like, this is what I want. I want a pool in my backyard.
Yep, you got it.
Anyway,
It was a great bouncy house.
We have another baby coming in this weekend. She's not a baby, she's a bigger girl. And so we're doing it again. We're repeating.
Yeah.
So the birthday party.
What is marriage? That would be an interesting, because I'm not there yet. Marriage as grandparents. Like, even in your marriage, you go through phases. Like, we were married before we had kids. So we were one couple before kids.
Yes.
Then you become a different couple when they're babies. Then you're a different couple when they're toddlers. Then you're different when they're teenagers, because the things you as a married couple are having to navigate are different. It starts with, did they poop? Right. And then it gets to, are they doing drugs? I mean, and so those conversations are different in a marriage. I'm not to a marriage with grandkids.
Yeah, it's tired. You're basically exhausted. Tired. They left yesterday and run up like at 7:30 last night. I'm like, I think I'm going to bed. So funny. It's quiet. at our house. Like, it's loud when they're around, and you feel like, oh my gosh, the space is so filled up, and it was so much fun. And they're just coming and going, and Grandma, and I said goodbye yesterday to Sophia, and she's like, how many sleeps till I see you again? And I'm like, I love that drama. I miss that girl drama once in a while, And so that was fun. So it's just it makes your heart just full. Like, as parents watching your children parent, like, your hearts are just full.
Do you find that you and Rodney talk about the grandkids when they leave, like you talk about the kids? Like, I mean, when you have kids at home, like you go out to dinner and you talk about the kids.
No, it's like none of our responsibility.
So you don't,
right? It's like, no, it's like, what should we buy for the next one coming in? Can we have donuts for breakfast? Can we have cupcakes for breakfast? Like, it's not like none of that, like, heaviness of, oh, I hope they ate enough protein today.
Right.
Right? Like, no. It's just like, wasn't that fun? I was so fun when they sat in my lap.
Do you talk about, I was going to say, do you talk about, like, their fun personalities together when they leave? Like, did you see little Henry?
Yes.
Did you see Sophia? Did you, like...
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And do you each, not that you would have favorites, but are there, like, one of the, like, Henry's closer to you than Rodney, but Sophia's closer to Rodney than you? Like...
Right. Not so much. I mean, Henry's not easiest, that's the wrong word. Henry, like, knows us best.
Right, he's here.
Because
so
he's
more
here, so he's local. But, no, Sophia marches in, and she's the princess of the parade.
So fun.
And she's going to tell you how it is. And
Sean
she's the oldest.
Just adored her.
Oh, yeah. She will tell you how it is.
Yeah, she 100%. Was a ball.
Yeah,
she was
100%.
Fun.
So, and then Oliver's the second on there, with Sophia. And so he just sort of is like, is anyone going to talk to me?
Right, that's what I thought. Like, sweet him. He was just content,
so cute.
No drama, but just kind of followed, where everybody was and just kind of blended in. And
yeah, but it definitely is like, it's chaos. And it's fun, but it's also like you realize, oh my gosh, like, it's exhausting. And there's a lot of Grandma, Papa, where'd Papa go? Grandma, Papa, where'd Grandma go? Right? And then, like, you trip over a ball that's on the floor, right? Like, it's just like, oh wait, like, it's just. But.
Well, you made a very good point. We went over for the 4th of July, and the name, the grandma name, like, I never thought of that.
I know.
That was a big, like.
It's very difficult. This grandma name thing. It happened on Sunday and on Monday, because my mom, who's grandma to my kids, came in town, and I'm like, oh, Grandma's coming, and Alex is like, you're here.
Right.
And Katerina's like, what are you talking about, Grandma's coming? Where's Grandma going? Sophia, Grandma's coming. And I'm like, no, my mom is, right. I'm like, Mom's coming.
Yes.
And so I should have let her stay grandma to the grands.
To everybody. She should have just stayed grandma.
She should have been grands
and you should have
greats.
been Mimi.
And I should have taken Mimi, which is what she is, which was my grandmother's name, and then Mimi to
the grandkids.
The grands, and then my greats.
Right.
Right?
So note to self, if you're getting to pick your name, don't pick the same name as your parent.
If they're still alive.
If they're still alive, because that gets confused. So, like, my kids call my mom grandma. Right. So, like, I can't be grandma then because we'll get confused, which I never thought of that. So, like, when you refer to them, they're going to be thinking about my mom.
Right.
And
when you say to your kids,
grandma's coming.
Grandma's coming, they think your mom.
Right.
Right.
But now really it's me think, saying I'm coming.
Now they think you.
Right.
Right. Yeah. It's very confusing.
That gets confusing. So I've got to come up with a different name. I didn't think of that.
That was definitely, but it is so fun to watch, like, them parent. It's so fun to watch them be married and, like, make each other better and watch them parent and think, I wonder if I step in on this one or not. Right?
Do I let them know that that's
like, I don't know, this one. And then it's also very funny to watch two children with their separate spouses, with their separate children, and how different they are.
They do it.
Right?
Yes.
Alex is, like, much more like, and Taryn, I should say both of them, but they're very much like, Henry, that's not a good idea. We're not going to do that today. And they have a little logical little thing like that. Oh, you have to go poop? Come on, let's go. We're going to, right? Katerina and Keller, who are the youngest, right? They are like, whatever, it's fine. Yeah, they can have sugar. They can have that. They if they're here, like,
just
like
completely different styles.
It's so funny to watch the two of them parent so differently. So
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah,
We're not there,
it was fun. It's fun. And then Joanna's coming this weekend, and she she's very regimented, and she's on the schedule, and she pretty much eats anything, but she's also like she goes to bed at a certain time. She has tubby time. Like she's much more regimented because Tots is the oldest, and so anyway, it's fun to watch your kids parent.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of marriage, like that's interesting because I
is.
didn't really think about even your marriage being different in this phase of life.
Yeah. And one thing Rodney did, which you'll think is hysterical, Katerina and Keller bought a house, right, in Utah, and so the movers were coming to take the famous table, and so
the table. Love that table.
And we love that table, and a desk, and they're like, these are really nice bar stools. And Rodney's like, well, no, she's talking about getting rid of them. Do you want them? And so they take, yes.
Out of your house?
Yes. So they take the bar stools out of our house with the movers on Monday. And then the 10 chairs around the kitchen table, they thought were nice too. And so they're gone.
They took all your chairs and stools?
Like no furniture on the second floor.
That's hilarious.
I know. I'm like, well,
guess I need new chairs and stools.
There's some work that needs to be done around here. And so I'm like, generosity felt really cool until now it's work
until
for
I
me.
Can't sit.
Yeah, so they,
That's
you
hilarious.
should see our house. We have like a table.
And no chairs.
We can live there's no chairs anywhere. I'm like giving stuff away. And so Rodney's like, we can live like college people.
Yeah,
So,
of course you can.
we're going back to the world where it was pre-kids.
You're my world.
Yeah. So, we're going back to those
That's
days
so funny.
that you talked about where it was just me and Sean. We were just grown up and we're good. Yeah. So, anyway.
Fun. Good.
Yeah. So, what do you
All
got
right,
on marriage?
so marriage. Yeah, I thought this was interesting. I went down this, again, you know how when you start studying it, you just kind of go down a rabbit hole.
Yes,
And so my
for
rabbit
sure.
hole was the...
Excuse me, but this is not on, and I can't possibly look this bad without the famous light on.
that makes
Oh,
now we
got
look
it.
gorgeous.
Actually, now I can see what I
my-
wrote.
yeah. So
So
funny.
now I feel much better.
So I went down the path of 7 verses that tell a marriage story. And so these are the main
God, you're so
verses
good
that
at
kind of,
this.
again, they helped me.
You're good at this.
Help
You're
internet
just
help,
good at
for
this,
sure.
yes.
But I picked the 7 verses that I think kind of tell this story. So the first
Okay.
one, Genesis 1:27. God created man in his own image, in the image of them, male and female, he created them. And this came from, I remember somebody a long time ago saying how they made Eve out of Adam's rib. And that was his side.
Yeah.
Because he's not in front of you, you're not behind him, but you are beside him. And so
would
God
be Azer.
chose the rib so that you would be beside him and that you together are equal. And so I think, that verse
That's
is
my
the
Azer
idea
tattoo.
of,
That's the word for that.
what
Azer, E-Z-E-R,
means what?
is the
rib?
word that's how God described that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I always hear about Acer, but I didn't realize that what it was with.
That's part of it.
Oh, there you go, Acer. So that was equal, yet different.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the thing.
For
That's
sure.
the waffles and spaghetti.
For
Like
sure.
he made us equal, but he made us so different. And
Yes.
we are complementary. Like
Yes. That's the Azer description.
a man needs what a woman brings, and a woman needs what a man brings. And
Right.
that he designed us to be equal, but to be complementary of one another. We fit together. So that was kind of the first thing. Then Genesis 2:24, a man shall leave his mother and father and hold fast to his wife, and they become one flesh. And just kind of studying that, I thought the biggest thing that stuck out was he calls us to do this as a husband and wife, not a parent-child. So like
Yes. Yeah,
the
yeah.
importance of a marriage it's stronger than even a parent-child
Yeah.
relationship, which is very hard in our culture because we become so focused on our kids, and they're amazing. Obviously, we love our kids. We talk about it all the
Sure.
time.
Sure.
But God's design was for the marriage to become one flesh.
Yeah.
Which is even more so than a parent-child relationship.
Yeah,
And so
that's part of one of the themes that I had talked about is like lordship, right? Like your spouse is not your savior. You are not your spouse's savior. And so, you're choosing together who your Lord is, right? Individually, but together.
But together.
Yeah. So we can talk about that later. But
so that was one. And really, a man leaves his mother and father, Genesis says, but Psalm says a wife leaves her family and establishes a new unit. So they both kind of leave to become this one, which I think is very important in the process. So we're created equal but different. We're created to become one. Then Matthew 19 says, no longer two but one. What God joined together, let no man separate. And this came about thousands of years after the Genesis thing. So I think it's important that we see he called a marriage to be that in Genesis, but he also calls us to be one and not to be separated, thousands of years later. And so, my remarkable went to sleep. Hold on. And this was interesting because as I kind of dove into this verse, it was saying how sin can sometimes separate us as a marriage.
Right.
Things get in the way. We sin.
Right, for sure.
But it's not, what was the phrase they said it? Sin may challenge the institution of marriage, but it does not overturn it. And the idea is that let no man separate it. Let no sin separate it.
Yeah, that's
this
good.
is meant to be forever.
Yeah.
And so, yes, sin can make it challenging,
yes,
but it doesn't overturn it, which I thought was a really good point. And that it's a covenant, which we say that all the time, but marriage is a covenant, which means one article that I read at the end, it said it, staying married is not about staying in love. It is about keeping a covenant, just like Jesus does with his bride.
Yeah.
So, yes, of course, we're in love, but it's not about that. It's about the fact that once you're married,
sure. I mean, we could talk about that forever, but the covenant is what stays the same, but the quote unquote love.
The way you love changes.
Yeah, Roddy and I were talking this morning and I'm like, this doesn't have anything to do with love. Like, I'm not saying you don't love me or you don't like that. Like, it's not that, right? Like, and it's so easy to get the two confused. It's like,
well, especially because when you first marry somebody, it is love in the way that we think of love.
Yes.
Like, butterflies in your stomach, the lust side of it. You really do love them differently at the beginning. I mean, obviously we can watch Bailey and Camden.
Sure.
Their love looks different than our love now. It is a fun love and it's a new love and it's an exciting love and it's butterflies in your stomach. I don't think I love Sean any less than Bailey loves Camden. It is just different after 30 years. It looks different.
Exactly. But the covenant hasn't changed.
But the covenant hasn't changed. And I think that's where you have to understand the marriage is a covenant more than it is love. I mean, you go back to the Old Testament. They were betrothed to each other. It wasn't like they chose this and there was all these butterflies of love at the beginning. They were betrothed and they grew to love each other, but they committed to this covenant and they stayed in it.
Well, like a lot of people, like I know people that have arranged marriages and they have a covenant, they say they're doing it and they learn to love each other. And I think, I don't love Rodney the same way I loved him when we first got married. It's like a whole different dimension. Like you can't, like I can't even think about what that.
Oh, I know.
Like in comparison, like it's not nowhere close to the same thing. And it's I don't know. It's like before you have kids, you say it's going to be like this, and then you have them, and you're like, oh, I'm not the perfect parent, actually. And like it's sort of like the growth and the tribulations are what makes it the thing.
And I love Sean different every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Some days I look at him and I'm like, oh, I really love you. And other days I look at him and I'm like, And I'm sure he does to me. I mean, that's not a...
Right, 100%.
It's but it's the covenant that I think makes it matter.
Totally irrelevant. But I was getting dressed.
So
I was getting out of the shower and Rodney's standing there and he's, he doesn't have clothes on, I don't have clothes on, and Sophia's coming up the stairs and I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna scare her and scar her for life. Scar this poor child. I'm like, marriage just looks different. Like it's not that. That's not the.
Nope, that is so funny. It really is. Funny. It really is. So funny. I think that all that's the covenant is the key to all
that's
that.
That's good. That's very good.
And then the fourth verse, Ephesians 4:32, be kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another.
Yeah.
I think on the back half of talking about covenant,
that's
where outside of love, that verse to me is, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't feel
No
like
matter
it.
what.
Be kind, tenderhearted, forgiving one another.
I'm not good at that.
I'm not
Rodney
either.
can tell you that.
I am not
Let's
either.
erase this.
Erase
We're not going to talk about this with the boys.
It's a 6-verse
Yeah, no.
story, not a 7-verse. Take that one
6-verse
out.
story.
But that's what's the covenant
Yeah.
is. It
I don't
does
think
come
you and
to
I
a
are
place.
kind in general.
Oh, I don't either.
Yeah. I think
Unfortunately.
yeah, they knew that going in though.
I try to tell them that, but it
I
probably
know.
still hurts. I think that
I know.
often. Like I think
I'm not really.
more often than not, I think, oh, poor Sean.
Yeah. I
Like
think that
I'm
about
not
Rodney
a
too.
good,
Rodney needs a better wife.
loving,
Yeah.
kind,
Rodney
sweet.
needs like a sweet wife, and
I
I'm
know,
such
I'm
not
not
a
either.
sweet
Me
wife.
neither.
Yeah, it's bad.
I'm not kind. I'm not tender-hearted. No one ever in the history of my life has referred to me as
No,
tender-hearted.
they'll say I'm honest.
Yeah.
They'll say I have integrity and all kinds of things like that aren't nice.
Speaking of integrity, did I say this? I think I've learned I'm not a person
Oh
of integrity
yes, you did.
because
you said
of my
that last
magnets.
Time. Yes, I know.
It's so bad.
I saw you driving
It is
yesterday, and I'm
really
like,
bad.
she's on the phone.
it is so
talking.
bad.
I think that's not allowed. And so-
Everybody should have to run for a position and put a magnet on their
Yeah.
car to
Or at
determine
least
if they're a
you don't even
person of
have to run.
integrity.
You just put your name on the side of your car with a phone number that says "for complaints, call." You know?
I think what's hard about the campaign though is because you realize like if you just put for complaints call, you'd be like, I don't care what anybody thinks
Oh,
about
that's
me.
true.
This is like I need them to think good about me because I need their vote. So it's
you have
like
to fake it.
I have to fake it. And so I'm in the car smiling all the time by myself, and I'm like, I am the biggest idiot in the world. Like, and literally a guy drove up next to me yesterday, and I knew him, and he's like beeping and waving,
Yeah.
and he's like, pointing, and I was like.
Hi,
Smiling,
just
acting.
obviously-
Mind you, I was just probably cursing somebody out, and I'm like, oh, it's so bad.
Kind
It's
and
so bad.
tenderhearted.
Kind
Yes.
and tenderhearted would
Okay.
not be what I would be
Whatever.
called.
But move on to the next one.
It is important, kind and tenderhearted, one another, forgiving one another. Then Colossians 3:19 and Colossians 3:18. These are top. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh.
Yeah.
Wives, submit as fitting in the Lord. And we have, beat
Yeah.
the submit one from a female's perspective to it's a dead horse. Ultimately, overarching, it is men, love your wives, don't be harsh. Women, you are subject to them. That's just the way God designed
Right.
it. And so
Right.
when you fit those roles correctly, when as a husband you love your wife and you are not harsh to her, and as a wife when you submit to your husband, it just works
goes
better.
better.
It just works better.
just
So
goes
you can
better.
fight it all you want, but it just works better.
Yeah. This is
that's-
what we talked about. Remember when we talked about Sabbath and we were like, well, when like somebody preaches sex God's way,
Yeah.
we're like,
It's easy.
yeah, whatever, it's easy. And marriage is sort of in this camp too.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you do it God's way,
You
it's
do it
better,
God's way,
but
it
it's
works,
really,
but
yeah,
it's hard.
work.
Harder
Yeah.
for me. The submitting part is harder for me.
Yeah.
I think I was better at it when we were first married because it
Yeah.
sounded fun.
Right.
Then I think I went through a phase where I was really, really bad at it because I kind of had the, I'll show you,
Yeah.
whatever. I think I'm getting better at it because
Yeah.
you get to it, you're like, I really want him to be in charge and do it all. I
Yeah,
don't want to
just
do it.
please
Just
take
please
it.
take it. I don't
Just
want to
take
do
it.
it. So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
I'm getting better. I don't know.
Yeah.
But still hard.
I am in the fruit is none of my business.
Fruit is none of my business.
So it's yours.
Okay.
If you want to manage it, go for it.
Go take it. You can have it. I don't want it. Okay, last one. This was Ephesians 5:32, which it's right after kind of talking about marriage in this whole passage of Ephesians 5, the roles of men and women. And then it ends with this mystery, referring to the marriage,
It is that.
is profound. But I am talking about Christ and the church. So that's where he
Yeah.
kind of ties the marriage into Christ and church. But I loved that it said this mystery, meaning this
profound.
marriage, is profound.
I'm going to write that down.
It's a mystery. So I think it ended my story with it is a mystery. Like
Yeah.
why God chose marriage to be the institution and what it is. I mean, it goes without saying it is one man and one woman that God puts together. And it is a mystery. I don't know why he picked it to be this way and these roles and
why
this.
he picked the two of you.
Right. Why
Right?
he and
mean,
I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
like I was, we're doing parenting next month,
Yeah.
which is really exciting also. But, like God does equip you for what he's given you, right? Like he put you and Sean together. And I think because you don't go together all the, like because it's a mystery and because it's profound, all it does is make you say, I need Jesus, right? Because were you prepared to be a parent?
No.
Right? Like, who let us take that thing home from the hospital? Like, what were they thinking?
Right. They don't.
Right?
They must
Like,
not
they
really
should-
know me because they would not let me
I mean,
take
you
that.
walk away from the hospital and you're like, I call my mom, I'm like, what
do I do with
like,
this?
Why did they give me this thing?
Right.
You know, we can't even get the car seat out of the car, you know, let alone. So I think like God does prepare you for that in that sense, but he also, it makes you say, I need Jesus. And I think that's why it's a mystery, and that's the profoundness.
I just love that it ended that. It's a mystery.
Yeah, that's good.
That's why
like
even
that.
as much as we talk about it,
I love that.
truth be told, it's a mystery. And it is profound.
And we'll keep it that
and
way.
And it's supposed to be an example of Christ loving the church. Ultimately, that's what the marriage represents, is this covenant between Christ and the church.
And every single one is different.
Every
There's
single-
no,
great point.
there's no
Same marriage.
prescription on exactly what marriage looks like in your household or my household.
Right.
And there is no prescription for what your relationship with the Lord looks like versus mine.
That's right.
We all have
Because
to
if it
account.
would, we could put them a
For
checklist,
sure.
and you'd be like, if
Like,
you do this, your
I
marriage is
established
going to work.
check.
Right.
Right?
You
Yeah.
cannot with a marriage, and you cannot with your relationship
No.
with Christ. It's a very good point.
Right. So I
You're
think
so
that,
wise.
Oh, those. Yeah.
So it's great.
It's only because you started this. So I cheated.
So there's my 7-verse
I love
story
it.
of marriage.
I love
there
it.
it is.
You always have something good going on.
No, I don't.
I cheated and Lydia helped me, so everybody knows who Lydia is. But I thought there were a couple good things with our 4-to-1 principle.
Oh,
you know,
gotta
because
love that.
Lydia listens.
She's used to us now. She knows.
Lydia listens, and she's like, "Well, your 4-to-1 thing, so
It's great.
you won't like this."
4 days of sex to 1 day of no sex? Yeah, I don't like that.
No, it's worse.
Actually. I don't take the 4-to-1 sex.
Okay, so throughout Scripture, there's more encouragement than despair, right? That's our 4-to-1
That's our 4 to
thing.
1.
That's our website thing. Okay. For every criticism, these are questions to ask yourself. Have I offered 4 encouragements?
To our husbands.
Yeah, we're talking about marriage.
Because I can encourage you.
You have to
Kristen,
say,
you're awesome.
Yes.
You're amazing.
Okay, it keeps going.
Okay.
These are just self-reflection. We
Okay.
probably shouldn't answer these publicly. For every complaint, have I expressed 4 gratitudes?
In our
Okay.
marriage.
We're on the
still talking
marriage
about
theme, yes, on our marriage. Okay. For every reminder of failure, have I reminded my spouse who they are in Christ? Okay, so that was a good theme. I thought.
Thanks, Lydia.
Yeah, exactly. Lydia's so good. So both of those, the key verses were Proverbs 18:21.
You're going to say both of those were no.
Yeah, exactly.
Both
and
of those were-
no, I'm referencing verse and Philippians 4:8. So I thought that was like, I mean, seriously. I mean, we know that from parenting our children, right? You get more bees with honey. I mean, there's expressions all over the place that tell us that, and I thought, oh crap, I know.
Boy, I don't do that.
I don't do that. I
No.
mean, but I do think like, thank you for emptying the dishwasher should count.
Yeah.
I mean, I have just baby steps.
Yeah.
So Rodney does so much like around the house stuff. Like we talked about this, like we're doing like this role reversal that like I get to go to work and not even like think
Care
about
about the
what's
house.
happening at the house. The chairs are gone, so what? You know? And he shouldn't buy the new chairs. You shouldn't buy the new chairs if Rodney listens. He should not go
Rodney,
shopping.
don't shop
go
without
shopping. That would
us.
be pushing the envelope, and I think we don't need to that. As much as I appreciate it, let's not do that. But it does bring back to, you know how many times we disappoint the Lord? And he keeps coming 4 times, you know, sometimes one time we might get disciplined, but 4 times we're going to
He's
get.
telling us how much
Yeah.
he loves us.
So anyway, there you go. There's that. So,
That hurts.
yeah, I know. Sorry.
Honey, you're awesome.
yeah,
you are so
exactly.
great. You are wonderful. You are a person of
They're our
integrity.
biggest listeners. We should
And just keep
call
catch
out.
up. If I do 10 in a row, does that count
No,
for?
this is a problem. No. I thought this was good. Protect the little foxes. This is Songs of Solomon. You know, marriages don't collapse overnight. It's usually unspoken disappointment, exhaustion, sarcasm, lack of appreciation, busyness, assuming instead of asking. And small repairs prevent major fractures. And, you know, there is, you know, like how many people do you know that are complaining that their husband leaves his toothbrush out and 4 years later they're divorced? And you're like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, how did they get there?
How did you get there? So, so we talk about, you know, we talked a little bit about a covenant versus a contract, and I think that that's good. But I often find like your spouse is not your savior. I know a lot of people that live like that. It's like, I feel like part of what I had to do when I did my Azer study years and years ago and stuff, it was like, what happens if something happens to Rodney? Right? Rodney talks a lot about, well, I'm older, I'm going to die first. And I'm like, no, you're not. Stop talking about that. It leaves me insecure. I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, well, we have to, you're going to have enough money and you're going to be able to do this, that, and then when you get remarried. And I'm like, oh my God, stop. Yeah. Right? And I realized that there was part of me that was like, he saved me from being a single mom. And he saved me in, at Legacy. And he's done so, like, not savior, like as in terms of your
eternal security,
but at the same time, I think it's very easy to put people on a pedestal. Like, well, Rodney, come in and rescue me. Like he was going to come to Italy, right? And I'm like, oh, my knight in shining armor, and then I'm like, no, I have to figure this out. Like I have to be okay with like the Lord is enough, So I think it's very easy, like especially at Bailey's age, right? That. Camden's the savior, right? Not, it's easy to forget where your lordship is. Yeah. So, and I think what we do is put weight on them, or they put weight on us.
And then that's heavy. That's hard to carry.
Heavy weight, right? That I think I was never intended to bear, nor he was ever intended to bear. So, So when we expect another human to satisfy every emotional need, disappointment is inevitable, which I think is so true. Like you have to look to Christ first. And, the Abiding book, stupid Abiding book. I told him last night, I'm like, well, this is a dumb book. I hate this, but it's so true, right? It's true. Like you cannot control the fruit. And so you have to abide first. And independently. Like you have to have an abiding relationship with the Lord, independent of your spouse directing you to have an abiding relationship with the Lord. Like because you're married, your spouse should make your abiding relationship with the Lord better, right? And so, anyway, so I thought that was good. I have some.
Keep kicking you. I'm
so
sorry.
No, that's okay. I crossed my legs the other way. I just had some other questions, like how you repair after conflict. What does forgiveness actually look like in everyday life? How has God used marriage to shape your faith? This is Lydia. A closing thought.
I love Lydia.
Marriage isn't proof that life is easy. It's one of God's classrooms where joy, forgiveness, humility, patience, and sacrificial love are practiced every day. The joy isn't found in having a perfect spouse, it's found in becoming more and more Christ-like. So, I think culturally speaking, everybody wants to look perfect. And I think it's better to be honest, excuse me, and not be perfect. Yeah. Because then God sees the miracle of it, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, we had actually, totally irrelevant, I don't know how much time we have, but we were having a discussion in our Bible study in the office. We're doing the Abiding Life is our Bible study. And a guy that's relatively new to the office shared a prayer request. And he said, I'm sort of uncomfortable doing this, but I had asked for a prayer request, and he's like, so I'm going to share. And we all prayed with him. We've been praying for months now. And it's a process they've been going through for 2.5 years. And he got to share the miracle with us. And I think by not being real and going through what you're going through and not talking about, Rodney and I had this morning, Rodney and I had that, help me. It's not bad. Right? I think it was just, and we talked about that after we were talking about it last week. And I said, how cool is it that because you shared when it was hard to share, and because you were genuine and honest and vulnerable, we get to share in the miracle of a prayer answered, right? And we get to see God work. And so I think in a marriage, it's so easy to talk about well, this is just between us, or this is just, and it's not. It's a community walking with you to say, I'm going to keep pushing you back to the Lord. I'm going to challenge. You've done this to me so many times. Where it's well, maybe from Rodney's perspective, I'm like, shut
Right. I want to hear that perspective.
You're supposed to be my friend.
Team. That's right.
Yeah,
And
you know, and so I think that's how you give really good advice. And so I think that, that it's supposed to be all the joys, all the patience,
Right. That's the
all the
covenant of it,
tribulations.
all of it.
It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so
And I think you need to talk about it with your spouse. I mean, ideally, with the understanding and freedom to know that they're not going to leave you if you're honest with, I don't like you right now, or
Right.
I'm not happy
Yeah,
with where we're
exactly.
at, or I was looking at somebody else this week. Which,
Right.
What does that mean
What does-
about me? That I'm like, there has to be that kind of a relationship that you have the freedom to share the good and the bad.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. What if you do die first? I don't know what happens with that. And
exactly,
so we got to
exactly.
talk about that. And
Yeah.
what do we do with the kids? We disagree on how to discipline. We got to talk through what that means to us
Right.
when we can't discipline the kids together. Or we have the person that I was meeting with today was talking about they had a wayward child that
Yeah.
came home. Home meaning back to the Lord.
Yes,
And
yes.
how many years they had been praying as a couple for this child, and they disagreed on
how to do it.
how to do it.
Yes.
And so they were even sharing in this meeting today about how that strengthened their marriage to figure out
Right.
together, like, okay, you want to
gotta
go
get
this
to the
way,
other
you want
side
to go
of
that
it.
way. The only way we can agree on is Jesus. So let's
Right.
just keep talking about Jesus and abiding in Jesus and trust that we'll figure this out. But
Exactly.
those conversations have to be real in your marriage without the fear of
Yeah.
them leaving you
It
or
took Rodney, we didn't do that right away. And I think part of it was because we were just like, oh, this works. We've got these kids. The kids love each other. They want us to get married. We want to get married. Our parents are happy, right? Like it was just all, which is what it is for a lot. I mean, it has nothing to do with the fact that we had kids or something, but it's like momentum is moving you. And I think right away we didn't have those conversations. Like, I don't know. It was probably, I don't know even how many years in that it was. I was like, one day I was like, we were discussing something, and I was like, like I'm not going anywhere, right? And he was like, no. I'm like, how can you not know that?
Right.
Like, what do you think I'm doing?
Yeah.
Right? Like it was just that's where he was vulnerable, and that's where I was like, that's the dumbest thing I
you
ever
both
heard.
come from failed marriages, so
There's that.
was an extra fear coming in.
Sure.
Is this one going to fail too?
Exactly.
And are they going to
For
leave
sure.
me? And
For sure. Like, so I think it took us, you have to work towards those things that's like, we're going to get through whatever it is. Like, it's going to be okay.
I remember, and again, I think it was my parents that spoke this over us, but there was just the phrase, divorce is not an option.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
Exactly.
when Sean proposed, we started talking about it probably even before the proposal when we were dating, that
Yeah.
if we get married, divorce is not an
Yeah.
option. And to the point that we would say early on in our first few fights, like we would not allow each other to say it was an option.
Right.
You wouldn't, no matter how bad the fights were, and we had some bad ones, and we had some
Yeah.
knockdown dragouts, and we just committed early on
Yeah.
that like we would never say, I'm leaving you, or I'm
Right.
going to do, like it just was
But
not
even,
an
like,
option.
I don't even think so much it was the word. It was just like I'm not going anywhere. I'm just trying to
Just
express
not an
myself.
option.
Right? Like, I mean, so much of that has to do with just the different personalities and insecurities that you bring and everything like that. And then I was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Well,
so,
and then that gives you the freedom to fight better, and not even fight, but to talk better.
Right.
Like knowing
It's
that I
okay
can
to
freely
disagree.
express,
Right.
to the point of, a long time ago, but I remember having no relationship, but there was a person that I worked with that I found myself attractive to, and I was like,
Like,
"Ooh,
what-
what is that?"
right.
And so there was this guilt
Yeah.
that rose up, and I remember talking to Sean
Interesting.
being like,
Yeah.
like, I don't know what that means, but like, I need to be able to communicate this with you so that this doesn't go somewhere.
Right.
And again, it never
Yeah,
did or
exactly.
anything, but it was the first time that I was like, oh, do you talk about this?
Well,
do
you're
you
still
share
hot when
this?
you
Well,
were
that was when I was
25.
still young and
You were
skinny.
still
and
hot, yeah.
somebody was looking at me.
Yeah,
Now I'd give
exactly.
anything to have
Now
somebody.
she's got to wear red so that people look at her
every time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I had to buy another red shirt today. I
Oh,
can't.
jeez.
I
Oh,
guess
gosh.
several more weeks, but
Well, I don't know. I think,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it like the more open conversations that you can have, but I think that also takes a lot of practice.
It does.
Because you have to, you have to be able to trust that, like, this is not going to end in you go to bed pissed and I go to bed pissed, right?
Which we've extended that verse. Sean and I have taken that verse that says, don't let the sun go down on your wrath.
Yeah.
Instead of it being the sun go down each night, we've said it's a 24-hour period. Because like, if
fair.
we start the fight at like 9 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
like I can't solve it by 9:30 when we're going to bed. So like we give ourselves a 24-hour. It depends on the fight.
Yeah.
He does. I mean, he would never,
out.
ever miss
Rodney
sleep.
would lose sleep. I would be the one who tend to more
Sean would be out.
be able to sleep. But
And I will lose sleep over, I'll be thinking about, I should have said it better or different. Or like I'll overthink how I said it.
About like, let's table this for a second and we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Like because I think I have a tendency to like, I have pre-processed, right? So everything's in my head. If before I say it, almost always it's been processed. Like internally. Right? And Rodney's an external processor, and so he snaps too. And so if we don't give each other time to process in our own way, it doesn't end well.
Are you guys yellers? Screamers? Like when you fight or disagree, is it like yelling?
That's interesting. Well, that'd be a good question for the boys. I mean, I tend to cry because I'm frustrated that he's not understanding what I'm trying to say. So there's a bug.
I know. I see it flying around.
So, like, I don't think the neighbors know we fight. It's not that kind of yelling. It's more like, from my perspective, I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
Yeah,
this. I am much. Certainly, we both probably have quick tempers. But he's quick to temper, and then he'll say, like he's, not if we're fighting, like just in general, his first response is like, no. And then like, he'll go for a walk with the dog and he'll come back and he's like, I think it's a good idea that we give Katerina those chairs, right? Okay. Like, and I'm like, oh, because I already told her no. I told her no because like, it was just fine. Like I wasn't upset about it, I didn't care. I was just like, they wanted the chairs, do you think and he's like, no. Can we not do that? And I was like, okay, right? So that's like the first response is that. So usually in a fight, that's also the first
response.
Yeah.
Then he processes it and comes back.
If I start the fight, it usually is I've processed it already.
You've already processed it. That makes sense.
So
what do you guys fight about the most? Is there a topic?
We don't fight very much. Like we don't tend to fight very much.
Or disagree.
No, I know, but even like disagree, we don't. It's not that much. Sometimes, like on my end, it's like I know that you don't have to tell me that, right? Like work related, or something like that. I'm not stupid. I don't like. Then I'll sort of get my hair in the back of my neck up. What about you guys? What do you fight about?
That's what made me think. I think we used to be more fighters. I think back in early, we would be a little bit of a yeller. Like we would get in some good ones.
To ask our kids that when we do parenting.
Yeah, we would get some. Yeah, that'd be interesting to ask our kids what we think.
Yeah.
Now we're not screaming. I'm not saying we don't ever. I mean, we've had a few in the last couple of years where we got in a angry,
Yeah.
But I can count on one hand where we've got into like a.
Yeah.
Yelling. And never screaming at the top of my lungs, but where we've gotten. But now we don't really.
Yeah.
I get quiet in the moment.
Sort of like you did with Mike Olson.
Yeah. Like I'll get chatty when we're starting the conversation. We got to talk about the kids and what are we doing with the money and I'll nag. And then he hits a point
and he's like,
and then
okay.
And then I'll just, heavy steps around the house then, but I'm like, literally there are times that I will fight. And it was like that, I'll physically bite my tongue because what I'm going to say is not good. Yeah. And so I'll I'll leave. I mean, there have been times where I'm like, I'm going to go for a ride or I'm going to go for a walk because I know I hit a point and this isn't going to be good.
It's not going to be nice.
Yeah, so I'll
kind-hearted.
chirp. No tender-hearted.
Any 1% kind-hearted is
not
gone.
happening.
Yeah.
And Sean is, and it'll be interesting. We should ask these questions, but Sean, obviously he's Sean. If anybody knows Sean, he does not get mad.
Right.
until he does.
Until he's mad.
And I
It's the
mean,
Italian.
even that, I can count on one, and the kids do. I mean, it's always the jokes that we're like, remember when Dad threw me across the room? It's
Right.
been once, but like,
Yes.
he never, ever
Yeah.
loses his temper, raises his voice ever until he does. And then when he does, you're like, I mean, it sends chills because you're like, ouch, that never happens. So it's almost, and I have the disease. I don't know if we've talked about this before,
No.
of the giggles.
Oh,
in
yes,
the most
you have
inappropriate
talked about this,
times.
yes.
When Sean loses it, which again is never. So
But you
when
start
he does,
laughing.
it triggers the giggles in me because it's
Yeah.
so rare, and that does not go down well.
You did this when we talked about my melanoma. Okay. You were like, I had melanoma, and you were like, all of a sudden I have these giggles, and I'm like,
I do.
okay, well, I'm
it
so
is
glad
the
you
worst
think-
disease. My
I
whole
know.
family has it. They said that
fun.
about my grandma. They came out and told us all that she had cancer and was not going to make it. And I mean, I lost it. Not little giggles, like snorting giggles, like really, really bad. So that's what happens when Sean gets mad, and it's not
That's
good.
funny.
So,
Yeah, I probably have like less tolerance than Rodney. Like if I'm going to go off the handle, I have lot less tolerance. I think.
yeah, it'd be a good
Let's see what
question to
he
ask the
says.
kids too. I'd
Yeah,
like to know
but-
how they see it, and
Yeah.
I'd like to know.
Yeah, I'm
what the
definitely
kids
at my
say.
house the disciplinarian. I'm like black and white. You behave poorly. There are no perks. You know, you behave well, you get the perks. You don't behave right. Like definitely that was my thing. Like it was funny again watching the kids deal with their kids. We were at Taryn and Alex's house, and toys everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, before we leave, we should help Taryn pick up the toys. And she's like, oh, it's okay. It'll take me 2 minutes. And I said to Katerina, do you remember the bins? Because all
right,
my
everything
kids
had
each
to
had a
be-
bin. And if it was on the floor,
It's going away.
it's like, and every kid lost something. And then they'd wake up, at 9 o'clock and they'd be like, this has to go back in the bin. Don't throw it.
Don't throw in my doll.
And so, Rodney would never do that. Rodney would never do that. It was, I was the one that was like, you're not going to talk to me like that. And so, blah, 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 blah. Or, yeah, well, you said you were going to do that and you didn't. So, tough luck. And I can live with that.
Thinking of parenting coming up, I'd love to get the kids on. Can we,
would be fun.
again, technologically, I don't know how this works, but if we do a Zoom and invite all of our kids into the Zoom, we could record the Zoom.
Sure.
And do that as the legend
We could do
and
that.
have our kids talk about it,
Yes.
which would be really funny to
Very
hear.
funny.
These would be the questions.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I think my kids would say I was the disciplinarian too.
Yeah.
I was the screamer.
Yeah.
I was the
but
complainer.
Rodney and I, if there was something that we fought about once upon a time, it was that. But then, when it came down to something, really serious, he was like, okay, I got this. There were just, in teenage years, there were just a few of those things, and we're not going to get into that because we're
Right.
minute 50.
Right.
But, he was like, no, I'm doing this, I've got this. And I was like, oh, wow, I don't
Yeah.
think if I had to do that, I would have.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the same with the kids.
we had a good, I feel like we had a good back and forth about that kind
We'll
of
have to
stuff.
ask the husbands though about. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have one last question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What has marriage revealed to you about you?
You say that like Lydia has that kind of voice.
So Lydia says
What
that.
does marriage
What has marriage
say?
revealed to you about you?
What does marriage reveal to me about me?
Yeah.
Well, I think that I want it to be a 6 verse. What it reveals is that I'm not kind and tenderhearted.
Yeah. I think that's I was thinking about this because I knew that I had this question, and I was thinking, wow. I mean, probably that I should be alone and nobody should be married to me. And nobody really likes me.
Yeah.
I think.
I wonder if.
I mean, it
how old
reveals
were
like
you
we're
when
a
you met
black-hearted
Rodney?
sinner, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it does reveal how bad
Right,
you
how
really
bad we
are.
really are.
Right. I mean, I think in general.
But then it also demonstrates, because Rodney and Sean love us in spite of that, it does reflect how God loves us in spite of that, because he shouldn't love me. I'm not kind, I'm
Right.
not tenderhearted.
Right.
And he does.
Right.
Which is,
No matter
our
what.
marriage is an example
Yes.
of what it should look like, because
Exactly.
Sean loves me in spite of. Cannon asked that last night. Cannon's so funny. He came out and he said, if somebody gave Dad $1 billion, would he punch you?
Punch you.
Punch me.
To
and I
punch
was
you.
like, to punch me. He said, if somebody was offered Dad $1 billion, I don't know
$1
what he
billion
said,
to punch you,
would
you?
Dad punch me? And I was like, no, Dad
Yeah,
wouldn't. And
Rodney
then I
wouldn't.
said, I'd punch him. I'd punch
Yeah.
him for $100. But
I punched him for
no
nothing.
way in the world Sean would ever do that to me,
Right.
no
Yeah,
matter
Rodney
what.
wouldn't either.
And Cannon was like,
really?
I'd punch you for $1 billion. And I was like, Cannon. And he's like, for $1 billion, I'd punch you. I was like, Cannon.
That's funny.
But it was just a funny question, but it made me realize, like,
Yeah.
Sean wouldn't.
No,
he
Rodney
would
wouldn't
not
do
it
that. Rodney
ever.
wouldn't do that in it. No.
Ever.
No. And I probably wouldn't do it either.
I
But,
might. I'd be like, honey,
I
I
mean,
love you, but this $1 billion
I
is going
did
to pay off a lot.
spank my
so.
children. Did you spank
Oh,
your
yeah,
kids?
we were.
Yeah.
Well, I say that. We were spankers. I mean, it wasn't like
I
every
think-
day they were getting beat, but
No, but I think like with my kids, it's this whole thing. Like they probably each got spanked 2 or 3 times, and it was like, I never had to do it again, right?
yeah.
But I don't know. Rodney probably spanked everybody a little bit at some point, but
I don't think Sean spanked the kids.
No?
I mean, we were spankers, but it was usually me. I don't know.
I love that. We were spankers, but it was usually me. My mom
the
had
kind,
a spanking
tender-hearted person
stick.
that I am. Oh, we had it.
Yeah.
My uncle had a paddle. I always tell this story because we grew up where I grew up. My mom had a big family, and we all lived on the same street.
Yeah.
So all the cousins lived on the same street growing up. And my uncle had a paddle, and we weren't allowed to say the word "but."
Oh.
Like butt head. That was
Yeah,
back when
yeah,
it was
that was a butt head.
but
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
And he just so
No
if you
tolerance.
said the word "but," you got spanked. And he made us write it on the paddle and date
Oh.
it. So there was this huge paddle that he'd hang, and it had all of our cousins, neighbors, it didn't matter. If you said "but," you got spanked with the paddle, and we'd have to write it.
Oh, nice.
I have one more spanking story.
Mine?
We called them lickins.
Lickins. Yeah, you
They
got
were
a lickin'.
lickins. You
Yeah.
got a lickin'.
Yeah.
So when I was student teaching in Ohio,
Oh no.
I was in front of a 3rd grade class, and I was telling a story about how my dad used to lick me. And I told this whole story, blah, blah, blah. I get called into my supervisor
doubt.
at college, and they were like, literally, she was like, I don't know what happened in your house or what your father did to you, but you do not bring that into this classroom. And it's a Christian school, really
Right.
private. So I was
Right.
like,
what are
what
we
you guys
talking
don't do? You guys don't do lickins? And she was like, that is the most disgusting thing. And I was like,
That's
disgusting? What? Like, I did not understand what was happening until she made the gesture, licking. And I was like,
Lick
ew,
it.
my dad doesn't lick me. Ew, that's so
That's funny.
disgusting. But we called them lickins, and I
Yeah.
learned the hard way that we should start calling
we
them
should probably-
spankings.
They're spankings.
Yeah, not lickins.
My
but we
mom
got
gave
lickins.
us 3 kids each a spanking stick for Christmas as adults, like about 5 years ago.
For your kids?
No, like to just as a funny joke,
Oh.
we each got a spanking.
'Cause you
Every
get-
year she gives us an ornament for our Christmas tree, and
This year you got
a couple of years ago we all got spanking sticks because she thought it was funny.
That's
and
so
Brian's
funny.
like, my brother's like, seriously, like this is what? But my mom only had to threaten the spanking stick.
Oh no, we got beat.
Yeah,
My brother
I don't know
tried
how we got to that,
My
but
brother tried the book in his pants
Oh.
before he got beat, and that just created a bigger beating.
Yeah,
like,
no
we
doubt.
got beat.
Yeah.
My mom chased me up the stairs with a brush. We always tell the joke. She couldn't catch me. Like, you get to that age where like you start
right,
running,
and, like
Yeah,
it's coming.
We got beat.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I don't either.
Sean doesn't spank you.
Sean
Rodney
doesn't-
doesn't spank me.
Yeah,
Just
nobody
so we're
licks me.
clear
No
on,
one's licking
on
me.
the abuse situation. Like there's none of that going on. I don't know how we
Marriages
got
are
to
great.
spanking.
I don't know either. That
But
combine
it
them.
does, I think, bring out the best in us.
It does.
And
He
I
is
think
my
it-
better half.
And
for
I
sure.
think it brings out the worst in us. Like it makes us recognize. And if it doesn't, I don't think you're really being honest. And I also think you have to really be careful and temper yourself and say, who and what is, like, where's my lordship in, if I'm not letting this relationship bring out the best in me, how am I possibly letting the Lord bring out the best in me, right? From the discipline perspective and from the grace perspective. So I don't know why I got that
Yeah,
lordship
I
thing
agree.
going on,
I agree.
but I think it brings you to your knees to, it is a profound
It is a mystery. I just thought that was the greatest verse.
It's a
This marriage is
mystery.
a
Yeah,
mystery, a profound mystery, which it is.
yes.
But blessed to have it.
Yes, exactly. Wouldn't change it. Although they might wish
They
that
might.
we were
Well, and I wonder
by ourselves.
if we didn't get married so young, if
Yeah.
it would have been different too.
Right.
Like we
This
were
is true.
so young. I don't know if Sean would have chose me if we were in our 40s.
Yeah.
Like I think
That's
we were
interesting.
different people. I don't know
Yeah.
if he would have chose me.
I got married. I was 21.
Yeah, me too. I was
Yeah.
20. I had
Yeah.
just turned 22 when we
Yeah.
got married, but we had dated 6 years before
Yeah.
that. So we were 15 and 16 when we met.
Right.
So I don't know if he would have chose me at 40.
Yeah.
I mean, he's stuck with me now. It's a covenant, and he would
Right.
stay with me. But I don't know, and I don't mean that negatively. I just
Yeah,
think
it's just-
we were different people,
Right.
and I don't know if he
And
would
I
have
think
chose me.
in a marriage, like you grow apart sometimes, you go together sometimes, and it depends. Like, hopefully there's more together than apart, but I do think there's periods of time where it's like, you have to work on your career, he has to work on his career. Before you come together on the big stuff, I think sometimes there is a lot of finding of yourself, especially when you get married young. So anyway,
All right,
cheers
marriage
to
is
marriage.
good.
I don't know
30.
if we lessened anything, but
I don't either.
we'll probably get in more trouble.
We'll hear what they say next time.